The last few years, especially after the pandemic, things hasn't been very easy, not only for Nepal, but all around the world. Despite of that, we have seen tremendous growth in the life of the church. So a lot of people were confined in their own home, and just looking at God, I think that was one of the best time for so many churches, especially in our part of the world, devoting themselves fully to the Lord in prayers. And we have seen amazing growth during that time. And so many churches have been planted out of what happened during the COVID. But Nepal has been an exception country where we have seen tremendous growth. And Nepal is known as a country where Christianity is growing rapidly, despite of all the opposition from the government. And this anti-conversion law was introduced in 2016. But I tell you, the more persecution, government or anyone brings, the more growth we have seen in our country. And God has been gracious to us, and a lot of miracles, signs, and wonders. That has been our main tool to preach the gospel. And the Lord is always faithful, and He always comes through. We have seen amazing breakthrough in the life of the church. And so many people, have received the salvation and healing and a lot of, other stuff the Lord has done in their life. So that has been a key to the gospel in our part of the world.
Why is it so important that you see miracles and the supernatural presence and power of God, specifically in your context?
The moment anyone comes to faith, there's opposition, especially from the family member. Always a lot of questions, because in Hinduism, there are 33 million god and goddesses existing. And for them, adopting Jesus, one of them, is not a problem. But when you say only Jesus, and they would always ask questions, okay, what is the difference between Jesus and other god and goddesses? So that's where we present Jesus as a God who, gives salvation and gives healing and sets people free from demonic spirit. Yet they don't have to give anything to Jesus in order to receive salvation. Where with other religion, you always have to bring sacrifice or present something to God and goddesses in order to receive blessing. And that's where Jesus is distinct from other God and goddesses. We have witnessed amazing miracles and healings. People set free from cancer, and they have gone back to the doctor and done through all the diagnosis and scanning, and people have come out absolutely negative, no signs of cancer. So we have seen such miracles, and people cannot fight against those signs and wonders and miracles. So we rely very much on the power of the gospel when we present. And I tell you, the Lord is faithful. He always comes through.
Rebecca, you came out of yourself. Your family was involved, I think, in many generations in Buddhism. What have you seen for other people coming out of different religious backgrounds?
बुद्धिस्ट र नेपालीमा त धेरै भिन्नता त छ। अनि हामी चाहिँ पहिला मेन कुरा भन्दा प्रार्थना नगरिनेसम्म खाना खाँदा धेरै गाह्रो हुन्थ्यो, बिमारी हुन्थ्यो। अहिले चाहिँ हामी धन्यवाद मात्रै दिएर खाए पनि केही पनि हुन्थेन। मेरो हजुरबुवा र मेरो बुवा चाहिँ मेन बुद्धिस्टको लामा नै हो, त्यही भएर अलिक गाह्रो थियो। अहिले चाहिँ परमेश्वरले मलाई चाहिँ त्यसबाट छुटकारा दिनुभयो।
What are you guys praying for now in the context of Kathmandu, but also broader Nepal?
As I said, the gospel is spreading rapidly, and almost every day I get phone calls from different part of country, and they wanted us to start church in the locality, in the region, because Nepal is full of mountains, and God has been faithful to raise new generation, matured in their faith, that Lord would choose them to send them different part of the country. So at the moment, I would say we lack people, we lack leaders. Preaching gospel is one part, and where people come to faith, but discipling them, is the most difficult job, and that's what, requires a lot of resources and of course manpower as well. And that is something, we're trusting at the moment, that Lord brings more people who would, partner with us to start church and discipling new believers.
I know there's been a lot of growth in advanced partner churches in Nepal over these last few years. What have you guys been seeing in terms of growth of partner churches and how you work together?
We work among 40 churches at the moment, and recently we have seen those 40 churches also planting, other churches in the nearby region. It's not only us and our churches involved in church planting, but other new planted churches also planting new churches, and that's where we need a lot of training and of course resources, and there's a greater opportunity at the moment to get involved in those new territory. We live in Kathmandu. We don't live in those areas, but people have been so faithful, reaching out to their neighboring villages and countries, and the gospel is just exploding in a way that sometimes it's even difficult to contain. And we receive phone call almost every day, and we do travel a lot in different part of country to just be with them, encourage them in their faith. So that has been our role at the moment, going to the new places. There's always people have to sacrifice, bring offerings, but when it comes to Jesus, it's free. And that is something really attracts people in the beginning. And when they come in contact with gospel, of course, the gospel has power to transform their life. And people have experienced, that sort of transformation in their life. And that's what really touches people's heart.
जस्तो गाउँमा कसरी विश्वासी आउँछ भनेपछि अब गाउँतिर बिमारी भयो भने हामी लामा झाँक्रीलाई खोज्नु पर्थ्यो पहिला। अहिले चाहिँ लामा झाँक्रीलाई कुर्नु पर्दैन, आफै प्रार्थना गरेर मान्छेहरू निको भएर नि चर्च गएर निको भएर नि विश्वासमा आएको कारणले हाम्रो चर्चमा चाहिँ धेरै भर्ती आउँछन्। क्यान्सर निको भएछ, एड्स निको भएछ हैन। God is moving in Nepal rapidly. Yeah. I'm also become believer by healing, I also back pain. Doctors say never heal, I have coccygia, and after praying, and I got healed.
Wow.
We ourselves have witnessed, miracles in our life.
2012, I can't move my leg. I'm paralyzed.
Yes, he was like sort of half paralyzed,
And God is here.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, excellent just stories, and you bring such another dimension of what the gospel is doing when it comes to the Buddhism and Hinduism stuff and how people are being reached. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. So we are blessed, we are blessed, and although we know very little about the Bible and but we have witnessed that power of God in our part of the world. So we've been very, very, we've been blessed. We have seen, the power of God, in our generation.